Hey there, Jess Hubley, and just to remind everyone, I'm doing my internship at Angles Behavioral Health Services in Maine, doing intakes and adult case management. And so this week, I just want to kind of process a couple of visits that happened with a client of mine over the past couple of weeks and see what kind of input folks have. It has to do with dementia. And I'm just don't have a lot of, I've got some experience with dementia, but not with co-occurring mental health issues in the way that they sort of have like an interplay. And so I thought, well, maybe somebody else is more experienced with the aging population and maybe has some kind of insight that that I don't have. So what happened was, in Maine, we have a resource called HEAP, and it helps people, it's a program that helps people get assistance with heating their homes, basically, with buying oil, paying electric bills. And clients go in for an annual reapplication where they're showing that they qualify by providing income statements and leases and that type of thing. So I have this particular client who is 82, and she had her HEAP appointment, and she generally has a lot of anxiety about appointments. For a few days beforehand, she'll kind of be running over in her head what could go wrong and anticipating things and wanting to make sure that she's prepared, and I'm going to be there early, so she'll be there early and that sort of thing. So that's fairly normal for her, and that was happening. And we went to the interview, and she was concerned that maybe she wasn't prepared because a couple of her documents weren't the latest documents. So we went into the interview. It actually went super well. Usually I get like a list of things that the client still needs to provide to the agency before they can run their application through, but she was all set. At one point during the interview, my client has a reverse mortgage, and I don't know really anything about reverse mortgages. And so we were kind of trying to figure out how that might play into what her income is. And so the person who was doing the interview called out to a coworker, "Hey, do you know anything about reverse mortgages?" And the coworker said, "I'm not sure, but I kind of think you might get a check every month." And my client said, "No, I don't get a check every month." And she had a bank statement, and we looked at it, and it came to light that she doesn't get a check every month. And so, okay, the woman said, oh, I was wrong, and we moved forward, and it was fine. So the next week, my client, and on the ride home, my client was super happy. "Oh, it went so well. I'm so glad. I guess I didn't have to worry," that kind of thing. But the next week when I saw her, my client was very upset about this conversation that had occurred between the two coworkers. She said that she knew one of them, and I don't know if that's true or not, and it was her mortal enemy, and that she had yelled out that my client gets a check every month in front of the whole universe, and everybody was watching and listening, and that was not okay. She should be fired. My client wanted to hire a lawyer. She'd just been really perseverating about this for that whole week. And it just wasn't what happened. And so I kind of tried to say, well, I don't think she meant anything by it. I think she was just confused and wrong, and she admitted that she was wrong. And then my client said, oh no, you're on their side. Really like shaking, her eyes were bulging, very tense. It was a little alarming in terms of her medical health, how upset she was. And so just so many things interplay in that situation. Her dementia had something to do with her perception of those events, but also past trauma and anxiety and her perception of herself. She felt like this woman was calling her a criminal, kind of because she feels like she shouldn't be receiving free oil. That's kind of her perception of herself. She should be able to take care of herself. So anyway, I guess I'm asking folks if in trying to resolve this with this woman, and I'm running over a little bit, I was kind of stuck in terms of I'm not going to solve her issues with dementia and recall. So what's the best way to proceed? I ended up asking her to write a letter about what her concerns were, and she did. But if anybody else has any ideas or any other insight, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope everybody else is having a good week. Thank you. Bye.